Boys, right, I was wondering, I think it might be time to take this relationship to the next level.
Ooh.
I'd like to show you me knob.
Oh, yes, please.
Can I do that?
I mean,
Can I
we've
show-
already
can I
we've
show you
seen
me
it
knob?
and,
Right.
and licked and done other lovely things.
Well, here it is for the viewers then. Here you go, right? That's me knob. This for our audio listeners. This was sent by a Deprogram listener. This is a shift knob for the Volvo, handmade of lovely spalted
Brilliant.
birch or spalted maple, I believe.
You're exploiting our audience for Volvo parts? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, no. He emailed me. It's like, yo, I make custom shift knobs. Do you want one? I was like,
Yeah.
sure, thank
Yeah.
you. So he made this for me.
Oh, that's so sweet of him.
Which is really nice.
Does he want a shout out for his business or something?
I
or?
will. This is his name is Simon. It's built by Basil. So I'll put his Insta up on the
It's
screen.
absolutely beautiful. Thank you for the gorgeous work. And thank you for allowing us to develop Photoshops of JT fingering things because it was so perfectly. There you go. Somebody
It does
green
fit
screen this,
nicely.
please.
Great. They're going to add that to the what's it called? The Mrs. Incredible, the Elastigirl meme from the early days.
Oh my god, I love it.
How are you, boys?
Alhamdulillah, very, very good. Tired, but good. How are you guys? We were talking about Hugo's background. It's the same room, but just because it was a bit darker, so it looks like a long hallway. Like you are the hostage, and he's the one who's been sent to execute you. But JT said something very funny about the contrast.
I was saying with Hugo and his dark background and me with my light background and white clothes, like we can be Hakim's Angle and Debil.
Which is extra funny because there's a Slavic word for debil, which is like you alluded
idiot.
yourself to being like the angle because white, and debil like just the fucking imbecile like
Yeah,
idiot.
exactly right.
Fucking, you know.
Layers, baby.
Oh my god. I love
Which
it.
to an extent are the characters that we occupy from time to time. I'm good. I just fucked up because this was between what I was doing earlier and this, and in between I had a slot of 10 minutes to eat. And my girlfriend made this basically like cold soup that has an immense amount of garlic in it.
Ooh.
And for those of you who listen on audio, I wear a mask. And what masks tend to do is bounce back and forth
you stanky.
whatever smell. So now I'm a stanky boy, okay?
don't
Or a
understood this.
sexy boy. I never understood this either. Garlic and onion smell fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Garlic breath on my dick. Probably
Yeah.
even gonna burn a little bit extra, like in a good way, if you know what I mean. So I'm all up for it, okay? I don't know why this negative stereotype. Do you agree?
I had a woman who gave herself chemical burns because she cuts up garlic and then gets the juice and then just puts it over any and all warts and other things that you might have. She thinks it's just like a universal healing thing. And then she showed it to me and she has these perfectly garlic shaped
Garlic shaped.
all over her body.
So she did it multiple times. She was like,
Yeah,
this is normal. This is
Exactly.
perfectly fine.
And
So it's not a cure-all then.
I think we're the ones who are wrong because this woman was Azerbaijani, so this was clearly Azerbaijani tech. What's it called? Yeah, exactly right. So she's getting the Yugoslav passport and whatever else.
I am, proud. I don't know if you've seen the meme. Proud Turkish boy when enter school in Norway. He spent all time redrawing borders on classroom map to show them glory of Ottoman Empire. He great supporter of Azerbaijani technology. He wear it on his t-shirt.
Oh my god,
fight
JT's
in
too old for
sand-
this.
but
What are you Zoomers talking about? Not even Zoomers. Alpha. What's the slur for alphas?
It's an Ottoman Empire. How is it? Oh my god! This shouldn't have been like ethnic
JT's
stereotypes.
like, wait,
today's
the
episode.
thing you rest your feet on?
It should have been. Yeah, it should have been generational stereotypes.
Yeah.
because,
Oh, we do need to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
no, well,
That's
let's,
not a bad idea, actually.
We never run out of ideas, boys.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Exactly right. My
Yeah,
god,
and why am I literally crying right now? Because all the garlic is slowly making its way up into my fucking eyes.
I love it. The other day I was showering and I was thinking of our audience, as I normally
You
do.
shower?
When I'm naked.
Continue.
We're getting to stereotypes soon. I was about to say something incredibly racist. I'm like, I'm not. Please bleep that.
Oh my God.
Bleep that.
No, keep it, but bleep the ethnicity. Keep it, but keep it, but bleep the ethnicity. It's really funny that way. And keep me reacting to it and say keep the ethnicity. Okay.
All right.
My bleeping finger is going to be on high alert today.
Yeah, I love it. It is called to duty. But anyways, I was thinking about, we have a several 100-page lists probably at this point of many ideas, viewer sent and ones that we developed ourselves, that so many have fallen in between the cracks. We could probably milk out an episode of just us going through the ideas and be like, nah, this one sucks. Nah, this is pretty good. Just see what people think.
That's a great
Episode 186 episodes.
I love it.
Fantastic idea. Absolutely fantastic.
Top
idea.
5 episodes. Numero 5.
There you go. You learned something new.
See?
And now
Internet.
you're quoting it on the show.
Yeah.
I showed them top 5.
I showed you top
Top
cinco.
5. No,
Top 5 dog. Dog DA.
you showed us top 5. Dog?
Yeah.
My favorite.
No, we
top
showed you
cinco
top
moment.
5. What the
My
fuck?
favorite moment of all this is when we were in our undisclosed area, region that we were traveling to recently. And we walk into a church, and there is for some reason, it's very dark, except from around the corner, there's a plaster mold of Jesus Christ. And it's lit up just very conveniently, so it's very bright compared to everything that's dark. But you don't notice this, so you walk up, and then you're immediately jump scared by Christ. And JT saw this, got jump scared, then turned around and said, "Top 5 jump scare." Numero 5.
Jesus Christ.
And I have this on, by the way, I have this on video. I have the same.
Put it in the edit.
Everything is dark in this church, aside from Christ. Top 5
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the program. It's an absolute honor to have you here and to celebrate just how many years we've been doing this for, and to thank both of our patrons and those of us listening to this 7 months after the episode was posted. We are redoing something that we did in, I think, something like episode 6 or episode 9 or episode 12. Back in the day, back when was COVID still existing then? Oh no, we started during COVID. Yeah.
That's
COVID.
nuts.
Actually,
That was so long ago now.
You know what's
But,
funny enough is that we have such a high output of content that it really is we think oh my god, it was so long ago. We're talking 2-3 years.
It was 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But back then we did an episode where we were still to an extent getting to know each other. So we wanted to really break the ice by
With racism.
being brutally racist to each other out in the open, right? And we made an episode talking almost exclusively about stereotypes that we know about our own people that we want to either on average confirm or deny, and the stereotypes of the peoples of our beautiful co-hosts, right? So we were like, let's do this again, but with more niche racism, and see where it goes, because last time was an absolute fucking blast. I at least remember that that's when I learned, again, a very niche thing, that every single Iraqi that they meet up until today, this is the second thing I bring up, is your haircut looks surprisingly normal. So that was the legendary mind blow, at least for me, from the previous time we did it. But yeah, before we start, thank you to all our patrons. Without you guys, we would not be able to do any of this. If you would like to support the show, you get plenty of bonuses, such as completely exclusive episodes, every single episode early, access to the Discord, access to us in monthly hangout sessions, and the ability to financially support us and keep us as independent as possible. So thank you for even considering it, and massive thank you to those who already are patrons. And of all ethnicities. And now let's get it started. I'll start with one that particularly irked me. Balkan breakfast is actually really, really fucking good. Why the fuck do you need to stir fry something 70 times in order for you to be able to call it a fucking meal? Okay, nothing against frying, but the reaction to Balkan breakfast online has been extremely surprising to me, because I saw so many, like, only Westerners, of course, coming into the comment section and being like, my guy is literally eating ingredients. Yeah, it's a tomato. It's a cucumber. You can eat a tomato and a cucumber and cheese. You
Westward
don't
question.
have to, yeah.
What is Balkan breakfast?
Oh,
my
Jesus,
God,
they're
you
so
missed
fucking
out.
old. I'm going to
You
fucking
missed
throw.
out so much in your life. How have
Is it
you
just like a
lived?
charcuterie board?
No, oh my God.
No, no, oh my God, no.
Oh, you're saying
It's okay,
ingredients,
you
which is
could-
like cheese
We
and
need to
cucumbers
take it.
and.
Habibi, he needs
Yeah,
to
but
go
you-
to Serbia. we go Serbia.
It is. You take from the refrigerator, you put it out, but not like a charcuterie board, like but like you mix spicy, fucking raw onions, some fucking tomatoes with like perfect salt and olive oil on top of them, and then you combine it with like some very nice bread that you dip in the olive oil.
So a
as well.
charcuterie board.
No,
different.
Oh,
It's
Jesus
different.
Christ! It's so.
How
You
is
can't
it
explain it to his.
Yeah.
Charcuterie board is like dry. And it's meze. It's like what you have with your wine or your
Okay.
vodka or your
Okay.
whatever.
So
Like,
it's a
enjoy.
volume thing.
It's a volume thing, but it's also like your charcuterie board. You can only put like fancy stuff or whatever on it for and make it look pretty and so on. About what they call a Balkan breakfast, which I think that literally everybody east of fucking Berlin also eats that way, is just
Okay.
taking out most of the stuff that you have at home, and then as you're eating, creating meals, like you're making combinations
Okay, yeah,
of
sure.
all of the stuff you have out in front of you, right? Charcuterie board, sure, you can combine the little bit of
The breads and the
cheddar
cheese
with
and the
some
tomato,
with
yeah,
some fucking prosciutto or something, but Balkan breakfast is like much more like let's say scaled. And some of the ways you can hit your taste buds, because you're doing active connection of different foods that are not that processed, unlocks an additional kind of experience of eating, in my opinion, which is more proactive, because you haven't cooked and then sat down. You're actively creating new shit for yourself. So yes, everybody who talks shit about Balkan breakfast, you're either American combination of the two, and this is. This is me telling you that maybe you should try before you shit talk my cuisine. Okay, thank you very much.
That sounds like a
Also,
blast.
the
I
thing
want to
is
try the
that-
big charcuterie board.
Absolutely, please. There's something that people don't understand about just general breakfast across the Balkans, across the Arab world, even into Iran and Tajikistan and Afghanistan and whatnot, across North Africa, so generally Arab world. This ingredient setup where you have the nice soft bread with the yogurts and the cheeses and the olives and the vegetables cut up with a side of like heavy cream and some honey, and it is like you have a wholesome breakfast. You feel full afterwards. You don't feel like you're gonna die, right? Like I know some people in some countries, their breakfast is essentially like cured meats, just series and series of cured meats. And I don't mean like the nicer high quality cuts where you have a little bit along with some cheese and vegetables and whatnot, like they do in some parts of the Balkans or Eastern Europe. I'm talking about the other Europeans or possible North Americans that eat fucking hot dogs and like the dog shit cuts, I mean, for breakfast.
hot dog.
Yeah. No, but it's true. You Americans have this thing called a fucking breakfast sausage, which is the worst cut of meat, as far as I understand, with a very heavily fried egg, right? More oil than it is egg, and some sweet scony bread, right?
It depends on where you. Yeah, and this is one of those things that like. Partly it's an age thing. Like kids will have their sweet cereal, generally speaking.
The population that should not be having.
Exactly,
Yes.
yeah. But it also it's partly like a class thing. Nice foods are expensive, and so we have
Cucumbers are the cheapest things to fucking grow on Earth.
Right.
I think this is American Coke.
It's a
not Desert
water.
Coke.
food desert cope,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But the easy thing would be dump a bowl of cereal in front of the kid. But it's not uncommon to have like melons and stuff as well for breakfast.
Ooh, can I have your milk?
It's gotta be sweet though. Gotta be sweet.
I'll end the Balkan conversation with like unironically making it fucking politics shit, but it's unironically ideological. If you give the perception of what is a meal versus what is an ingredient. If you take all of this stuff that we mentioned, like a nice cheese, some vegetables, maybe even a little bit of meat, blah, 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 and you wrap it, and most importantly for the States, you put a sauce on top of it, and you give it to your kid, you made him a meal. But if you give him all of that, like on a nice plate in front of him, and let him pair that with the bread or the wrap, it's absolutely okay, etc.
wow,
etc.
they have to be
Make it
creative.
for himself, then it's fucking eating
Applying neural
ingredients,
networks.
you peasant! You fucking pig, yeah, exactly.
My God,
Fucking
let your
peasant
synapses
shit.
fucking fire. maybe the
funny.
cheese will taste good with the tomato. Who knows?
You should see some of the combos Evie's come up with recently. She just discovered sauces because she saw me put sauce on something. And so now she has about 6 different sauces with each meal. And she yesterday she took a piece of watermelon, dipped it in soy sauce, then buffalo sauce, then ranch, and ate it. And she loved it.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
It's the salt and everything else. Why not? Let them experiment. Give them
Go nuts,
confidence
kiddo.
in it. The final point of this is I am an unironic breakfast supremacist. Your whatever breakfasts. I mean, I'm not going to be too much of a dick about it, but there is nothing better than like a Beledi breakfast, a rural Arab breakfast, which is exactly what the Balkan people eat. It's just cheeses and heavy cream, a little bit of heavy cream with some honey, a lot of vegetables, right? Olives, some dates with some nice soft bread. Oh my God. What
else does a man need? Like, I don't know,
genuinely. Genuinely.
Cookie Crisp, Captain Crunch.
My God.
Idiots.
Dude,
That sounds lovely.
My granddad lived to 94 in uranium-soaked fields, depleted uranium from American shelling. He lived until 94 years and outlived 4 wives. not
Mysteriously.
I've mentioned
We
the story
don't talk
before,
about
by the
that
way.
one. We don't talk
In
about
succession,
that one.
he wasn't married to 4 at the same time. He was married to one who died, another who died, then a third who died, the
Un
fourth,
poco
I think.
sus.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about stereotypes. For Arabs, you gotta mention that they were in succession at the same time.
No, because people will be ridiculous about it, right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm fucking around. It's a stereotype episode. I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Absolutely,
On this
please.
Yes.
I welcome
Okay.
it.
one.
All right.
Next.
Do I have something?
I have.
I got
oh, please go
something.
ahead.
Do you have food? You got a food related one?
No.
I got a food related one, or somewhat. Ice. Ice in every drink in the United States is a stereotype, apparently. I didn't know this was a thing, but that is more or less accurate. I'm thinking about it. If it doesn't come from a can, I am pretty much going to put ice in it. Unless it's something weird, like I wouldn't put ice in orange juice or something like that. But
What
if
you
it's
prove
water-
it makes absolute sense. An orange juice is amazing. What the one thing that when
The one
I
thing you
love
do
ice.
understand.
Oh, no.
Oh, it might be watered down. Oh boy,
Yeah.
the literal poison that I drink, carbonated out of a can, is okay, but orange
Yeah.
juice, no.
God forbid. No, yeah, we like our cold beverages here. Iced tea, ice water. Do you guys not do when we've been traveling? That is something I've noticed. We have not traveled in the States. Nobody puts ice in their drinks. It's brought to the table. No ice.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
because-
ask for ice as an additional thing, so they bring it, but otherwise they won't put it
Also
in.
a
yeah.
hygiene thing in most.
Yeah, I
most
figured with the
places.
water source.
That's
But
number
Hakeem
one.
helped me out. Like I really want to hate on JT because that's like half of the premise of this show.
Absolutely.
But are there negatives to drinking? Because you just hydrate more. So it
no.
sounds great and it's cool and nice.
You should drink. You
Like,
should
it's
drink
cold,
regular
right?
water. Ice cold water or just very cold water is not the best idea to always drink. It can give you upset tummy. Generally, that's why historically, as well as in most, like ancient cultures, quote unquote. So from China to the Arab world to Latin America, indigenous communities, Latin America, and whatnot. Their traditions are to serve like slightly lukewarm water or just like room temp, not ice cold water. The idea is that it helps.
Well, they
digestion
didn't have
and whatnot.
freezers with them little buttons you push to get the ice. Now, did they?
Whoa!
Mesopotamians
God.
with their ice machines.
Give me the ice box. I'm wondering. Actually, hold on. Warm water. Let's see what NCBI has to say.
Like
The effects of water motility. Excuse me. The effects of water temperature on gastric motility and energy intake in healthy young men. Let's take a look. Consuming water at 2 degrees Celsius reduces energy intake, and this reduction may be related to the modulation of gastric motility. Interesting. So you can be constipated with water too cold. Let's see the effect of warm water intake on bowel movements. Interesting. Let's see.
What have I done?
The stereotype of old
flat
ladies.
is expulsion. So they're talking about ripping ass in the experimental group. No significant difference was detected in terms of time.
Why
of
would you
stool
even test
defecation.
this?
But they balance it out, Hakeem. They balance it out a lot. Like I've been to the States plenty of times. They really balance it. Like the ice actually makes it cool. They have a
It's
massive
nice.
cooler culture as well. Like bringing coolers everywhere, like in a car, and then they will put not only for drinks. Like there you go, a stereotype that I really appreciate. They will even, so for example, cold cut sandwiches and so on that are much better when they're cold. They will take a cooler and then keep it inside, and you're going for a 5-hour trip, and then when you open either your juice or your thing, it's still cool. It's really like it's an additional step that doesn't take too much, that makes everything feel fresh at all times. So yeah, a stereotype I approve of.
Yay.
Yes.
I wonder if that comes from our road trip culture, where it's like, we're going to drive somewhere, it's going to take 6 hours, we're not stopping, so I'm going to put ice in this bag and make sure our food
I
stays
think it's
cold.
the sheer gluttony of the American population. It's like, how can we maximize our carbon footprint? I'm joking.
Roasting the poor Americans who have never done anything wrong.
Exactly right.
How to make refrigerator very large. Put whole ice machine inside, charge 3 times more.
That's a stereotype I will actually get silly about. Why does every American have a fucking walk-in fridge? What is this 2 double door shit? How much food do you need?
Where else are we going to put our mayonnaise?
Oh my god! I that's true.
But there is an other
3 kilogram fucking vats of mayonnaise. I was gonna say, actually, Hugo, do you have this? In the Arab world, it's very common, especially for your grandparents, to have a huge freezer that is the one that you open up, like
The deep freeze, yeah.
in the fucking basement. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And you have like half a goat or whatever in there.
Literally, a couple of neighbors that were naughty. That it's an eternal classic. Yeah,
It's good for meal prep. Good for like if you're in an area with natural disasters where you might lose power, it stays cold longer, stuff like that.
There's a much simpler answer. Come on, you're smart. There's a much simpler answer. Why?
What, for
Both
deep
of you
freeze?
can guess it. No, not for deep freeze is fine. But why the fridges are massive in the States?
It's partly because we have it's food deserts here, and we don't get to walk to the market every day.
Exactly.
We can't walk to anything.
It's a whole trip. It's a fucking, 20 minutes there, shopping for 30 minutes, and then 20 minutes back. And nobody wants to do that all the time.
Yeah.
So they bulk shop, as you put, and that's why they need a larger fridge, just for practicality, because shops
For
are
like a
far
month's
away.
worth of food, yeah.
Dude,
I have a shop 35 seconds away from me.
Oh,
From
so
I live
nice.
on the 4th floor. To get to it, to get to the first floor is 15 seconds, and to get to it is another 20 seconds, right across from me.
My
I have
man's
a
is sprinting.
24-hour shop, 5 minutes away from me. I have a literal fucking, what do you call it, the fruits and vegetables and that shit shop that's 2 minutes away from me, and a butcher shop that's 3 minutes away from me. All
Rainbolt is
individuals.
firing up his GeoGuessr.
my god.
Oh my god, yeah.
But he's not gonna find social planning. There's 17,000
Yeah, there's,
communities
like,
just in this one city that he lives in.
He's in Armenia, I knew it.
I knew it.
No, Hugo's Armenian. But what was I gonna say? You unlocked a memory I had, or a memory of just something that to me seemed very normal until it was clearly not normal. We're talking early 2000s sanctions Iraq right now. Heavy American sanctions Iraq. We would have to go and drive to an ice store to pick up
Hell
ice.
yeah.
And by ice, I mean we pick up a
block?
a huge block
Yes.
of ice. Like
That's so cool.
It's like a meter and a half by like 60 centimeters wide, or something like that, or maybe wider, probably a meter and a half by a meter, maybe. A huge fucking blocks of ice. Right?
Do they have the big like ice tongs where they grab it and then like lift it out and then they split it with like
they had the thing that they picked that they killed Trotsky with, the ice pick.
an ice pick.
You
Yeah.
just pick it in the middle.
Yeah,
That's some
yeah,
strong
exactly.
ice.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
yeah,
break.
they-
You would just pick it and it would stay.
Yeah, they would,
Insane.
what's it called? And they would have the clips around and then they lift it.
Hakeem's
it was-
eyes glisten every time he sees the pick go in.
I love it. Oh my god! Right then I knew. But we would go, and then because like in the summers it was brutal. In the summers in Iraq it becomes 45, sometimes up to 50 degrees Celsius, which is like 120 or whatever Fahrenheit, 130, some ridiculous Fahrenheit. Anyways, so you have to throw it in the car and then fucking speed home so it doesn't melt.
It's melted.
Yeah. And then you break it up a little bit, and then you throw it into your freezer, which has like the what the fuck, the Yeti cooler technology. What the fuck is it? Insulation, the temperature insulation.
The Yeti cooler.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it works like a freezer.
Yeah,
Yes.
it works like a freezer, but because of the frequent outages that we'd have, because of disgusting American sanctions
the
that were
double wall
meant to,
stuff.
to punish the civilian population, we would have stuff in the freezer that would go bad. So you'd have to have ice that you bring in and you throw it in, and then it would keep for a couple of days until you need to go and buy more ice and come in. So there are dedicated stores. So the market finds a solution, I guess, for sanctions, which is
fun.
So speaking of the market finding solutions for living in an extremely hot place, I will throw a stereotype at Hakim's people now.
Let's see.
All Arabs are hairy. I mean, they literally are, which is nothing wrong with that, but they are. So racist racial theory hat on.
Yes.
Extremely hot place. Why lots of hair? What? What? I would understand man live in like Inuit people. Lots of hair. Would make sense. Hot place, lots of hair. The fuck?
I don't know. I there must be some like evolutionary,
That's the stereotype,
like, selective
yeah.
thing for it. I wouldn't say it's a one stereotype. It really is, because you can't say like Arabs are not a monolith. There's such a huge ethnic difference between Arabs. Arab is probably the only ethnicity in the world that somebody can identify as, because they speak the language and certain traditions and whatnot, to the point that it's completely not strange for Arab people. For example, if JT were to speak Arabic and then let's say move to Oman or something, and then just live his life as there generally, like he would dress a little bit differently, I guess, and speak Arabic, he would by all intents and purposes be considered an Arab at that point. So it's what's it called? Nothing strange for us. But because of this, over many centuries and millennia, you have Arabs that are like snow white, and then you have Arabs who are like South Sudanese dark, and everything in between. So sometimes you have like an Arab person who is like, like East African, basically no body hair, to somebody who looks like he's from South India, who's super fucking hairy, and everything in between. So TLDR, yes, there is the stereotype. It's not the most accurate generally. It depends on what population group you're selecting. But as to why, I have no idea. Maybe it has to do something with sweat wicking. If you have the hair, it means that you can cool better. There must be something like this.
Probably.
But I have no idea.
I'm a hairy guy, and I love it. I would never had an issue with it. But I noticed that sometimes if I do share because of toxic fucking beach culture or whatever the fuck, I ironically feel much hotter than when I'm full Yeti mode. Maybe it's Yeti technology.
Exactly
Keeps it all in, if you know what I mean, brother. Yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely correct point. I was hoping you would go in the direction of, instead of being, a proper scientist about it, and I was hoping you would say Arabs do skull measuring to determine who is Arab, but instead of measuring skulls, they measure hair thickness.
Exactly right.
You are not one of us, brother. Depending on what is this naked stomach I see here. It must be covered.
If you want to see Harry, all you need to do is go to North Iraq. You meet if you were to meet the small creature known as the Kurdish man, then you will be,
Oh my god!
oh, just
Like calipers are coming out.
Exactly right. No, I'm teasing, of course, but no, that's also like a very wide range with Kurdish people. But this stereotype for a Kurd is like the big, like bushy mustache and the hair that crawls up the knuckles and above the, funnily enough, because you'll mention that and also it'll be like your uncle looks like this too. This is not a Kurdish thing. So yeah.
To me, it was always like from the Balkans, so tends to Balkanize absolutely everything. And to me, always the image was like an Iraqi. I always imagine a guy in a suit. A Syrian, I always imagine a cop, like a guy in a full uniform, like with like perfectly shaven, one mustache, right? Slick back, nice hair, but absolutely in uniform. And I don't think I've ever even interacted with a Kurd. But if I think of a Kurdish guy, I just think of a very hairy dude chilling on the beach. Like that's
the image you have of Albanians. That's basically Kurds.
Oh wow! Oh shit! I mean, they both do run heroin in the UK, so.
The connection, the link.
Okay, why am I the only one shooting myself? I'm fucking the JT's like, ooh, ice. We have a lot of
JT,
ice
tell
in
us
the
your
US.
opinion.
Say something fucked up for fuck's sake. Why am I the only one
What about
ruining my
those
career?
I am the angle, you are the
youngins?
devil.
What about those inner city youngins? Tell us all about. What do you think about inner city schools?
The urban types, yeah.
My favorite phrase of yours.
That's still your favorite?
No, my favorite phrase of yours is the wonders of the Orient. You did the white guy voice.
That's my favorite. Ah, the mysteries of the Orient.
The mysteries, yeah.
But that's unironic. No, go on.
I imagine you in the safari outfit, the white guy safari
the most
outfit.
racist hat ever
Yeah,
made.
yeah. And you're somewhere in South Africa. And you're looking at like black people somewhere in the distance, and that's what you say. It's completely wrong region and culture.
We would make a great sketch show, boys. Give us funding.
Yes. Please.
College humor or whatever.
It's okay. Don't worry. I've done the tests on JT. The people who see the quality and clarity of diamonds and other shiny rocks.
Yeah.
And they have that little monocle thing that they have on their eye. I do that, but to JT's curls and be like, he is indeed Jewish. Yes.
Pretty coarse. Pretty coarse.
You asked us to do a racism. I'm doing
here we are.
100%. 100%. But there you go. That's another stereotype. This one is about the Americans. I know that you don't have the statistics that you can whip out, JT, immediately.
I might.
But the stereotype of American white people is that they're all like just insanely racist. How many of the, give us a random estimate, a percentage.
Take away the American qualifier and it would be correct.
All white people?
Just all white people.
Yeah. Let me think. Because it's varied each place I've lived. And it's also varied how it manifests. Like in Texas, it was honestly probably the least racist place I've lived. You do get some of the Dallasites will just straight up say, oh no, those dirty N-words, like, whoa. And it's not like because they're older and a product of their times or whatever. This is like finance bros, like real the pink polo shirt finance bros. They're like, okay, all right, they're just scumbags. Connecticut, very racist place. New Jersey was all right. But because there were a lot of Italians there, they were just
they respect the POC.
Everybody is racist against me, and so there was a reverse racism going on there. Here, South Carolina, kind of rough as well. But yeah, as far as percentages go, I don't know. I would say over the age of like 25, probably 65% of people would be classified as some kind of racist, of some flavor. But the kids are all right these days. The kids are all right.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Something that I've always noticed with my rare interactions with Americans, alhamdulillah, that the out and proud racists I can at least stomach. What I really dislike is the liberal, like, I will not invite you into my home, or I'm going to lock my car if I see a person of your ethnic group walk by, but I'll do the stupid Twitter posts.
The performative stuff.
Yeah, I'll do all the performative shit. This liberal, quote-unquote, woke, quote-unquote, that nonsense.
Pacific Northwest, that is them to
exactly right. Coastal white Americans is the vibe that I've gotten. And I really, really don't like it because at the end of the day, what they want is not a they don't really care for racial equality or whatever. What they want is they want to have like a token friend. They want to come off school to their peers, and if they will have a token friend, then either they'll be kept at arm's length because they're different, or it's going to be basically a person who's exactly like them but just in a yellow, brown, black skin. Like it will be somebody who's thoroughly whitewashed. But that's my personal experience with these people.
Someone who's so articulate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Exactly right. When I met JT, I was like, oh wow, this Dominican man is very
when I was like, that can't be Hakeem. He's not brown enough.
Yeah, exactly right. My God. My hair isn't standing straight up.
Yeah. Hugo was Hugo. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's our boy.
Genuinely, the only way Hugo could have been more Hugo is if he came in wearing the balaclava. Like, that is absolutely the man.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the only way. Maybe if he had a hostage with him. I mentioned this before. We took a picture when we were at our thing. I took a what's it called, Polaroid picture, and it's Hugo holding JT as if JT is a hostage with the fucking man, and it looks fantastic.
That's a good
Oh my god, I love it.
I
Of
wish we
course,
could
the
share some
Arab
of
is
those
gonna
photos.
love of course, the Arab is gonna love a picture where a
Where it
guy in a
looks like someone's
balaclava
gonna
is
get
holding
beheaded.
a white American.
Absolutely. The only thing that was missing was you with your index
memories.
finger up. all you need to.
He's like, oh, the good old days, if you know what I mean, brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hit me with more. Come on.
JT is my what's it called?
Go on. What slur is on your tongue?
No, I was like,
Token white friend.
I was gonna say, if ever what's it called? The U.S. embassy gets threats and they come after me, you're gonna be my hostage. I'm gonna like stay back or the white man gets it.
The feds are gonna be like, oh, sick, and he's gonna like line up for the collat to get both of us.
Collat.
All right, here's a stereotype that you guys will probably not be. JT, you will not know about this. Hugo, there's
Probably
definitely a Balkan parallel to this, but I want to know the differences in the Balkan parallel. This is a constellation of a few stereotypes that we have, but it is of the Arab secularist, and by that I mean there's a very nice Persian term, actually, Farsi term for this. That's gerbazadegi, which basically means like occidentalosis or obsession with the Occident, with the West, and this kind of like overlaps with the idea of these people who are usually very secularist. Their perspective is basically everything that is quote unquote Oriental or like from our culture is inferior, and everything that comes from the West, no matter what it is completely superior. And like the traditional example of this is the like Lebanese business / economy student, a product of the American University of Beirut, speaks more English than he does Arabic. Usually sometimes of a minority background, like Maronite Christian or something, but can be of the majority ethnic group or like socio-economic and ethnic and religious group of the region. Dresses like a 1980s psychologist, has a stupid fucking beard and the brown sunglasses, talks endlessly about some bullshit French novel that he read or something. Very, very insufferable types, mostly because of the French. And there's a very nice, what's it called, commentary about this concept by Abdul Hakim Murad, and it goes like this. Give the Arab secularist a glass of urine and tell him it's wine. Not only will he pretend to enjoy it, he will enjoy it. Essentially, that's the idea. And these people, genuinely, they're fucking insufferable when you see them, right? And their entire end goal is to what's it called? Immigrate out, to go to the metropole, to be a Parisian, fucking live in some rundown downtown fucking to slum. But I'm in Paris, so it's fucking. Right, being treated as a second or third class citizen, because they'll never escape their
So they're weebs for cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
exactly right.
Pretty
yeah.
much, yeah.
The ones
Self-orientalization, etc., etc.
Yeah. Exactly right. The ones for France are the worst, right? Sometimes you get ones for Britain, and you get a smaller amount. These is usually Gulf type people that do this for the US. That's why sometimes you'll see like some guy from, I don't know, like Eastern Saudi Arabia, but he is the biggest fan of NASCAR ever. He knows everything about everything. He attends everything fucking NASCAR's ever done, so on and so forth. You meet some of these people, and it's just a strange, like, more than fascination, like obsession almost. You said it perfectly. It's a weebing, but for the West. It's not super common, but you see it, especially amongst a certain, upper middle class, like university layer, especially private universities. I'm wondering in the Balkans, is there a parallel?
That's a classic parallel, I think, absolutely everywhere, especially with upper middle class people and so on, trying to explain away why their particular countries, for example, maybe struggling economically or is engaged in this or that type of conflict, and instead of looking at the quote unquote real material scientific reasons, they hyper focus on the type of image they have of the West that they mostly got from movies and from books and video games, and they compare it to the culture, the realistic interaction with the culture they have domestically. So they start developing feelings of massive, not just insecurity, but like there's a term for it, self-orientalization, right? So they're like, oh, if we were only as well spoken and cultured and developed as insert X Western country, we will get out of this problem. So I'm gonna try and be more like them, and they end up being very, very toxic on people around them that they don't engage in this sort of let's call it cultural milieu. But there's like usually two types. There's one that is completely organic, in my opinion, which is the status quo to an extent at this point. Like cultural imperialism. Everybody's inspired by Western culture and so on, which is, I genuinely believe more organic. Like most kids nowadays consume more Western culture than anything else, and that obviously impacts what they're like. But there's the other category of the self-described intellectual that actively engages in it as a form of elitism that becomes a borderline reactionary behavior, because you're a sellout at the end of the day. Nothing else, nothing more. That doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a foreign culture or even have a particular obsession with it and like it. But once it starts informing you once that starts informing some sort of bigotry towards your own people, that's when it becomes quite literally reactionary, and it's very fucking cringe. And it's pretty common. I was that when I was 18 or whatever, 19. I've told the story 100 times and I'm going to say it again. But I was unironically that, because I was just fed on American films. And I was like, look at what I see on screen. Look at what I see on my fucking streets. The fuck? We obviously have to be fucking barbarians. Blah, 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 blah.
Bombed out bombed out Balkan streets have better.
Yeah, and then I went there. Yeah.
Like,
Then I went to the States. Absolutely.
Rip. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is one that you guys have both mentioned before, and one that we experienced the last place we went, that Americans are all friendly and outgoing and always smiling and will strike up a conversation with literally anybody about anything. Yes, that is often the case. Even in some of the, the quote unquote grumpier places like the Northeast, like New York is particularly thought to be like, everybody, eyes down, going where they're going, walking here, that kind of stuff, which is true to an extent. There are a lot of people like that. But generally speaking, Americans are like, hey, how you doing? Lovely weather we're having, huh? Stuff like that.
Let's hope the coloreds don't get out and ruin this lovely weather that we're having.
Breathing the white man's air.
Exactly. They should be working on my lawn. I mean, I'm just quoting you, I mean Americans in general, not JT. JT does not have various colors. JT
Believe it or not,
JT is the colored working on his lawn.
I'm ethnic.
Hey, with those curls, Heavy, I'm sorry, you're gonna be in the camps right with us.
Sweatshops.
I made it. I made it. But yeah, that's definitely a thing, and it's honestly, I kind of like it to an extent, because a lot of Americans are genuine when they do that. They just, they're friendly, warm people. If you're one of the people that they are willing to do that with. Do
you remember when we were in undisclosed location?
Yep. The two ladies.
Yeah. No, not that. The previous trip that we did, another undisclosed location. We were in front of the large church. And I was describing to you what was going on, how they're depicting,
the hanger-on.
Exactly. And I was explaining to the boys basically something very interesting in the architecture, where it depicts one of the parts of Christ's journey, and how it was very creatively represented in this architecture. And this American white woman who has no business listening in on me. She's just minding. She was wondering things about it, and then she comes in and listens to it like I'm a fucking tour guide.
It was pretty funny. She just kind of glommed onto us. So like,
and then she started asking questions. Like it was such a surreal. I'm glad I could have been of help, right?
Yeah.
But even then, after we were done with the interaction, I left and I was like, oh, she's like, oh, that colored boy was so helpful. He was so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. She may have thought you were a tour guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just a very
the right skin
informed
tone.
gentleman that is explaining stuff to his friend that she was like, oh, he sounds
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
yeah,
knows
I'm
what
teasing,
he's
of
talking about.
course.
So I
Yeah.
know, I'm fucking with you back because that's a stereotype. There you go about. No, that's not a stereotype. That's you. Hakeem is just like actively walking
racist.
around and being like KKK member. Fucking Nazi.
Absolutely.
And it's two ladies, like white ladies eating ice cream, like, oh, lovely weather
Yeah.
we're having. He's like, that one fucking hates Jews. And she's like, oh,
Oh my, is that correct?
And the funny part is he's probably right most of the time. But
that's the most
Yeah.
insane part.
the only time, not the only time, but like speaking as someone who doesn't mind the friendliness because it's my culture, the only time where it gets kind of gross and weird is in service jobs. People who like employees are always expected to be smiling and chipper and hey, how are you? How can I help you today?
That's the
Laughing at the
fucked up
jokes
part.
they've heard. Yeah, the same joke they've heard 1,000 times. Like, oh, no price tag must be free. It's like, then they're expected to stand for 8 hours a day and be chipper and love everybody and everything is the best. It's weird just pretending.
What's it called? I remember coming across this, and it was so strange to me to even know that there's a concept, customer service voice. And you had videos of these like ladies who would serving waitress voice or whatever, where they'd have their normal voice and then they do say the same line but as if they were serving a customer. And it's like exactly how you said, very up.
It's part of the uniform.
Yeah, exactly right. Like very needlessly, excessively happy and. It's just
Chipper,
strange.
yeah.
It's strange to have this. Like, be a fucking human being. Have a job that would not require you to humiliate yourself in this kind of way. You go, please. Sorry.
You notice it extra when, like, because I did direct customer jobs in the U.S. and I come from a radically opposite type of culture. So just getting used to it was insane. And some of the managers knew that when it comes to foreigners taking these particular positions for summer jobs and so on, that they need to unironically coach them. So I needed a guy to say, you need to be smiling all the time and you cannot talk back to a customer and you always have to agree and say yes and they're completely correct. And only if it goes completely overboard, you call me and then I get to talk to them in a different way, et cetera, as the manager and so on, which was relatively surreal. I'm not saying that, customer service isn't respected here, but the main reason why people negatively view the stereotype that you mentioned, brother, is not the when it feels exceptionally fake. And I think it goes two ways. One is like the borderline bigoted subjectivity of coming from like a non-American culture. So you immediately assume that all of them are fake, which is bullshit because not all of them are fake. But the other one, a lot of them are fucking fake and it fucking stinks. And it's like, it's just fucking nasty. It's to me, it feels like somebody's like in a non-sexual way pressing the fucking space between my anus and my dick, like fucking scratching it in a really fucking annoying way. Right? I'm like, hey, I'm fucking standing there. I'm like, I'm lovely. How are you? And they're like, yeah. And then continue on because they didn't expect for me to actually answer the fucking question, et cetera, or the highly extended, hi. Which is, okay, I get it. But so just for Americans to understand, it's not it goes both ways. Like some of it is badly directed when it comes to the depiction of the perception, of the stereotype, but the other half, in my opinion, is confirmed because like, what the fuck, like. I don't know. An American will wake, a day after the president gets assassinated, and even if they're patriotic or whatever the fuck, they'll be like, "Hi guys, how we doing?" So the president's
absolutely.
dead. World War III, woo!
100%. Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know when that started because obviously we spun off from the same vile stock as the British. but at some point we diverged pretty starkly from them because they're fairly uptight, the Brits, not all of them, and they're becoming less so, I think.
It's a very good question.
Yeah, I wonder when that really became a distinction. 1920s? I bet it's like I bet it was Roaring 20s, jazz, flappers, all that stuff, which, to my knowledge, the British didn't have. Somebody write a book on this, or British people reach out to us. I'm very curious.
Very
but yeah,
good
we're
point.
chipper.
Yeah, for example, our stereotype about my people is to be quite the opposite, like always looking like you're close to death's door, and everybody's, one knife pull out away from a fist fight. And I blame that, for example, the 90s especially, and that combines kind of two stereotypes of people usually, are very, men, women aren't so much, but men, everybody looks aggressive whenever they're, crossing the street or whatever, is because all of us unironically think we are Tony Montana from Scarface, and we are just constantly stuck in that zeitgeist. But that zeitgeist obviously has material undertones, because in the 90s, be it if you were in a country filled with wars, I'm talking about post-socialist experiments, or in countries where just the mob was basically ruling the street, you were actively entering a borderline, not war zone, but close to it when you would exit the street, right? People from extremely violent neighborhoods and so on from any part of the world probably can relate. So you had to always put on a face of, I also bite, right? I can fuck you up back. And smiling and being chill either made you look like a fucking tourist that needs to be robbed, or a guy that needs to have his fucking shit kicked in, because why the fuck are you happy? I'm not fucking happy. I'm about to fuck you up. What's fucking funny, punk? Type of shit. So that's why we're very grumpy looking, but and there's always a particular social shield in front of us, but behind it, once you pass through it, once somebody accepts you as a friend, or even as an acquaintance, but if it's a friend for life, and everything behind this wall is the mushy, sweet teddy bears that you can fucking imagine, but also teddy bears that will whip out a fucking knife if somebody does something to you, right?
Yeah.
So it's, in my opinion, I like it. I don't dislike the stereotype, because it filters out who is going to want to be with you, both as a partner or as a friend, because they're not jumping into a relationship with you based on the very classic borderline fake positive persona that most people have. Like, they have to like you and get to know you before they decide to be your friend. So the defensive mechanism very often works because it filters out pieces of shit, and it's kind of chill. Though it has its opposite toxicity, which is again another stereotype which is relatively correct, of you looking at me, which sometimes happens at random bars at clubs, just because somebody's on edge. Like, he doesn't dislike the other guy, but their eyes meet, and if they linger for 3 to fucking 4 seconds, it either goes to like, oh, I haven't seen you in a long time, or what you looking at, and then that turns into a very particular experience.
With that kind of initial standoffishness, how big are friend groups where you guys live? Like, in the United States, we're so chipper, we tend to create these large orbits and interconnected smaller orbits of friends. Is it the same for you guys, or do you have smaller, closer knit stuff? Similar? Okay.
To me, it's similar. They're just it's a larger group, and then separate groups that are very different to each other, that you're very, very close with, but can't really mix them because of very different lifestyles, perspectives, and so on, except on your birthday or on your wedding or on your name day or on one of those. And you put them all at the table, you semi-segregate them, but at one point, they're all there for you, so they start mingling and they start being chill,
It's similar-ish, I guess, but not exactly. Arabs, Iraqis specifically, but Arabs in general are exceedingly friendly, genuinely friendly. Might be a bit surprising to you can't compare Europeans, or at least Northwestern Europeans, with the way Arabs are just in general, with how easygoing people are to start to have friendships. But there are a lot of people tend to have a lot of loose connections with people, where you don't necessarily talk daily or see each other very often, but when you do, it's like you never, left. It's like you're good friends, right?
Yeah.
You sit and you talk and whatnot. You go out for food, but it doesn't have to be a regular thing. Otherwise, a lot of connection happens through like interconnected family units, right? And by that I mean like you're friends with your third cousin twice removed, right? Like type of deal, right?
Yeah.
It's not strange, for example, to have Eid gatherings. Eid's coming up, by the way, so even Mubarak to everybody. But not strange to have like 75 cousins or something.
Jeez. I ain't even friends with my brothers.
Yeah. It's such it's a lovely thing, actually.
That's nice.
And this is, by the way, for every single Arab under the sun, except for my family. I meet none of my cousins. But that's just we're very weird. My family. I think we're a bit on the spectrum, all of us. So I think, but yeah, that's how it is generally. Another stereotype, I think, I don't want to make it the shitting on Americans hour, but it's something that is a very famous stereotype that I don't think is that accurate, but it is like I've found confirmed, but it's not as bad as people say, that Americans are very loud when they're out, especially when they're like touristy. How's your experience? What is the explanation for this?
That's a good question. We are. It's interesting. I would say we're not all that loud, but that's probably because we're all roughly the same volume to us. But yes, there are subsets of people, white people, that are just really project. And
all white, you're right.
It's all white people.
Yeah.
I think a large contingent of them are salesmen, guys in sales. I have a couple of friends. One of my friends is a car salesman. And he's a lovely guy, real outgoing, can talk to anybody about anything, but he is loud. Man, like you if you walk into a party, he's there because you can hear him immediately. But I would say that's probably part of it, and I think it probably comes down to the U.S. is largely a service culture, and so you tend to project a little bit more in that kind of environment. That would be my guess. Other than that, it could be like a bravado thing.
Your ears
with
are
some
my
guys.
manifest destiny.
Dude, we are extremely similar. Like Balkan people are super loud, but it's unironically, I think, a gender and a class thing. Girls are not. Dudes, like I hate doing these like middle income, whatever the fuck. That's not really a fucking class, but you get my point. Middle income and below, fucking especially when it's a group of 5+ fucking dudes, and on top if they're without their women, oh my fucking god, like they are marauding bandits. Like like everything was like I went to like a bachelor party recently. It was in fucking Greece, and it was with those types of guys, lovely dudes. But it was like they were reacting to everything as if like a I don't know, 50-carat diamond just appeared in front of them. Like the cold beers, and they're all like, "Oh, the fucking cold beers! Yeah, let's fucking go, boys!" Like typical like bro culture or whatever the fuck. But the wealthier people get, the more like they are proactively like silent, intentionally not reacting. Yeah, watch my tone, etc., type of shit. And I unironic, I've been raised to be more quiet and like polite and well kept and so on. So when I'm with groups like this, I feel exceptionally, like insanely uncomfortable for the first 2 hours, and then like with everything you get used to it, you start replicating the model you find yourself in, and you become a dirty barbarian just like them. But fucking embrace it. I don't give a shit.
I thought of another thing. It may also have to do with the friendliness factor that the ebullience, I think that's the word, just real bubbly, real big. And I think it's because typically when you're excited or you are trying to show that you're excited to see somebody, you get a little bit louder. And so if we're all trying to be really happy to see everybody, then we just get a bit louder. Hey, it's great to see you, that kind of thing. I suspect that we kind of just lapse into that in social environments, and so everyone's louder.
My favorite thing is the observational commentary that certain Americans have.
Yeah.
The most recent trip that we had, we were again in one of these like very famous monuments, and this building that we're inside, 1,000 years old, has maybe like 6,000 people in it. I don't know, like many ridiculous amounts of human beings in it. And out of all these voices that we hear this one old American lady. We go like, "Where are the diamonds?"
Yeah. They're supposed to be diamonds.
Oh my god!
It is cute.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's such an interesting cultural quirk.
It is. It truly is. It truly
you
is.
wouldn't find
They're like small children. You see a 60-year-old woman that is reacting to things the same way that JT's beautiful daughter will react to. Like, you get like, dude, like, haven't you like lived for like half a century? You've seen a painting before. Like, what the fuck? Like.
I've got another stereotype there that might explain that partly, and that is that the stereotype is that Americans are dumb, generally speaking, or ignorant. Yeah, and there's definitely some truth to that in some ways, but I think it's
ignorant, yes. Yeah.
Ignorant, yes. And it stems mostly from a lack of curiosity, a contentedness with what you're surrounded with.
Dude.
I know. And that's why when we go abroad, we're like, whoa, I didn't know things could look like that. That's supposed to, that's a Wendy's, that sort of thing.
Dude, I watched a video yesterday. I was getting ready to get to bed. I was like, let me have my tea before that. So I was drinking my tea and I was like, let me fucking watch something stupid. So my YouTube recommended this video of this guy, American guy, who does like Google Earth, where he checks locations that are very hard to get to or whatever, or structures that there's no information about, and he decides to go there, right? This is his thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I was like, that's pretty cool. So he does this trek through the Spanish like Sierra in southern Spain, and he gets to like this old ruin basically that he saw from fucking space, and it turns out that there's a car park next to it. It's a known structure. He was an idiot. He didn't know that this was a thing. But anyway, so he treks for like 7 hours to the fucking mountains to get to this thing, and then he talks about for a good 4 minutes he talks about this little known fact. You probably didn't know this about Spain, but Spain used to be under Arab like and Berber and mixed whatever indigenous Spanish rule under various Muslim empires for almost 8 centuries, over 7 centuries, right? 750, 800 years, plus minus. And he was like, I like something that could have, like a very little known historical tidbit. You're telling me that
just a millennia.
the caliphate of the Umayyad Caliphate in Andalusia is a little known fact. It was possibly the most developed civilization in Europe of its era. What the fuck are you talking about?
None of that happened. Doesn't matter.
and it's just like it's an American thing. And you notice this a little bit. Yeah, like I remember another American that was talking about Aboriginal people. He was surprised that Aboriginal people existed in Australia and thought it was an American parallel where it was virgin land and white people went and then they imported slaves. He thought it was like an American parallel. He didn't realize that there were people originally there.
Fascinating.
And by the way, these are like relatively educated people who have access to the internet. I'm not saying all Americans are like this, but there's a very common tendency I notice of either historical or geographical lack of interest that causes
That's exactly
ignorance.
what it is. It's a lack of curiosity. It doesn't matter what's outside our borders. It's Hugo's thing. It's the everything else is DLC. My dad, who's a real smart guy, college educated, had a great job, long career in a difficult field, thought the Soviet Union was still around a few years ago. Dad.
Hey, he's an optimist. What can I say?
Yeah.
Hakeem, give us some true Arab stereotypes.
Let me see. This is one that's specific to Iraqis more than general Arabs, but that we love eggplant. We absolutely adore eggplant, and not only do we love eggplant, we also
this guy is like, we are annoying, we are uneducated, we're fucking loud, we're pieces of shit. Talking JT like hard hitting shit. Okay, I'm like, we are violent. We are violent. We don't fucking look you in the eye. We love the eggplant very much.
I mean, okay, Iraqis
No,
are
I'm
capable
fucking
of
with
an
you.
incredibly beautiful and wide range of emotion, extending from, by the way, UN verified the most friendliest nation on earth. Confirmed by
What?
the UN, the friendliest nation on earth. They did a stupid survey over a couple of thousand people across the planet, and they give different suggestions of which circumstances would you help a stranger in this and this and this situation, basically. And they found out that Iraq was the country that was the highest in answering yes of random Iraqis that were polled. And as a result of this, they're like, oh, well, Iraq is the most friendly country. So it's a silly little joke. But my point being is that we're simultaneously the friendliest people on earth, and we're also capable of. You've seen the ISIS execution videos, like there is a range there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm joking.
Usually, the kindest people are capable of the greatest amount of intense opposite reaction,
yeah.
which is completely
Exactly. Just
understandable.
don't.
It's a
of
range.
course.
Yeah.
The ISIS was entirely Iraqi. Don't ask how conveniently ammo boxes were stamped with Hebrew letters. So don't ask these questions. No.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, he immediately fights the stereotype. Okay, then let me help you out. And now I'm literally doing bigotry because I'm
Please do,
grouping
please. I
this
would
whole
love to hear
linguistic
it.
category. Do you haggle about absolutely fucking everything with the store guy?
I do not. Okay,
But is it like a
I will
relatively
introduce a
common thing?
sexism.
Okay.
Women will. I will introduce a sexism.
Women
Really?
will. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
it is very common for men to not really care too much unless it's a significant purchase, right?
I would have guessed the other way around.
Yeah, but women will, like a man will haggle over the price of a car, right?
Yeah.
A woman will not haggle over the price of a car. She will haggle over like shoes. That she wants to buy.
Yeah.
A sexism that I'm doing. This is not a general rule, but it's something I've
What's
noticed
the
at least in my
stereotypes?
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, dude, this
That's
secondhand. I've hated haggling. I've always, maybe again,
Same,
I'm like socially like underdeveloped. But when somebody starts haggling over like cent denominations for a fucking necklace or something, or a skirt or a pair of shoes, I'm just like, shut the fuck, I will pay the extras, please. Stop this. Oh.
We don't haggle in the United States, and one time a dude came in, this was when I was working at Best Buy, and he wanted to haggle with the house brand HDMI cable. Like this thing was $9.75 or something like that, and he wanted to haggle. I'm like, my guy, go talk to the manager up front. I'm not haggling over an HDMI cable.
My mom went. She was in Turkey recently to visit some people, and she went into basically what was the equivalent of a Walmart over there, like standardized pricing, standardized merchandise.
Yep.
In a major city, and she found a what's it called, pressure cooker that she really liked. No, it was a pressure cooker set, and she really liked it. And she was like, "Ooh, I like this." But it was like there's a discount for like some sale that was going on, and she was like, "Okay, this is a good price, but I think I want an even better price." So she goes and starts haggling with your equivalent at Best Buy. Some poor woman that she pulls over, and she haggles with this woman, and she wears this woman down over 20 minutes. In the end, she got her discount, a further discount, and the woman was like, "Please let me go. This is as low as I can give you."
Okay,
and she was so proud of herself. And this
to defeat a Turk in haggling is truly
Yeah,
impressive. Your mom
absolutely.
is a G. The Iraqis, I guess, are more Turk than Turks.
Astaghfirullah, don't say that to my face ever again.
I am doing. How
Yeah,
many
no,
times have you?
We love to do the racism. Another thing, have you guys seen the movie Kingdom of Heaven? When you have
many years ago,
exactly right. There's that meme where you have the Christian king who's sitting in Jerusalem, and he wants everybody to quiet down, so he has the mask and the gloves, and he raises his hand up, right? And he's like, "Yeah, exactly right." Yeah. I remember one time we were walking. Also, this was in Turkey. I guess my mom's best haggling comes out in Turkey. We were walking through a street market, and
She
saw
just
this
goes there to rip off the whole country.
Yeah.
This is revenge for Ottoman Empire.
Absolutely. she sees this beautiful artisanal what's it called? Like the teapot. Right, beautiful, artisanally made. The poor woman that's made it has fucking calluses on her hands from working on these fucking things. Gorgeous one. And she looks at it and she's like, "Oh, how is it?" And she says the price, which is fairly reasonable for the amount of work that goes into this. My mom immediately doesn't miss it. She's walking, doesn't miss a step. She does not stop. She just asks for the price. The woman says the price, and my mom lowers her head and she does the fucking hand thing and she continues walking. I felt bad. I wanted to go buy the thing off for myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah. I think this is more of my mom's stereotype thing than an Arab stereotype. But generally, yes, they will. What's it called?
Very interesting.
Yeah. I hate haggling. So
Yeah, I don't like it. It's not my thing.
I hate
Yeah, it's
haggling, and I
scary.
hate calculating tips. I will tip significantly over what I think they would quote unquote deserve, just so that I don't have to. I skip the It's
the
not
math.
difficult to do the
Yeah.
math, but it just feels so
I love tipping.
Nickel and dimey.
yeah. But that's
Tipping. Oh yeah, that reminds me. American tipping culture. I get it, but it has gone off the rails. It is like those. You go to a gas station and you get a bag of chips, and they've got the whatever Clover or whatever the brand is. Those white tablets that they spin around, and it's like it says your the total, and then it's got like 4 buttons that have tip options, like 25, 30, 35, 40%. Like no, and so they make you say that, push the tiny little button that says no tip, and like make you feel bad for
exactly right.
ringing up a bag of chips.
I feel no bad. I remember I was all right, this is a story that I was in a country with very strong labor laws. I'll just say that much. And this country, for some reason, is thoroughly imperialized by American culture, to the point that they when you're in the capital, you don't see anything of the local culture. You only see Burger King and fucking whatever, these American brands, clothing brands, food, fast food, everything of that kind. So there's no point in going to the capital as a result in this particular country. Regardless, there was, and I was with a group of this is when I was in med school, and I was with a group of acquaintances and friends and whatnot. We were a big group, and they're like, "Hey, we've never been." I don't want to fucking. They forced me in the end to go.
Forced. They
twist my
pulled out a
arm.
knife.
No, absolutely,
A gun to his
absolutely.
forehead.
Absolutely, I was not interested in whatsoever. I don't understand the appeal of
It's weird.
food. That's why I've never.
That combination is strange. Yeah.
We go into this fucking. We have food. We have their chicken and whatnot. Surprisingly good food. I will comment. The food was surprisingly good. I got a goodie bag, like a takeaway bag or whatever it's called.
Doggy bag.
Doggy bag.
That's what my grandmother would call it.
yeah, doggy bag.
And she'd take all the sugar from the table too.
But anyways, I took one with me. It was nice. Anyways, we go to the end to pay, and this lady, who's of this nationality, of this nation, with very strong labor laws, she tells me "Oh yeah, would you want a tip?" And I became such a dickhead immediately. I was like, "Tip." I was like, in your code, in this blah blah blah, according to this law, you have you have a right to.
You did.
If you don't.
I would never talk to you again.
Yeah.
I would never hit you
Dude,
up.
it was not cheap. It was not. This was not fast food. I could have gone to a proper fucking restaurant, and you want me to fucking tip on top of it?
Don't you
Get
disrespect. That is a proper restaurant.
By the way, all this lovely lady did. By the way, she was not the one who served us. I don't know if that's a difference or not, if that matters. But she was not the one that served us. She just she took our order and then brought the food, and there was no other special. I don't understand the point of what am I supposed to tip you? Right. Anyways. So I told her, there are labor laws in this country. There's this and this and that.
Article 17.
Yeah. I'm not. Basically, there's no need for me to fucking tip you.
This man is Hakeem would take the receipt and on the tip line would write "consider time management training" or something like that.
Dude, you say this. Meanwhile, when I went to there was a restaurant in the country that I studied in, which was my favorite one to go to. It was the one that we celebrate all our exam successes with and whatnot. And we had our guy there, and this guy would always fucking hook us up. He'd always get us the nicest tables on the terrace and whatnot. He was fantastic. Absolutely, I missed that restaurant. I missed that one dude. I think I would pay him the full. I would tip him the full value of our meal. Each time I would give him 110% tip every fucking time I would go there, because it was genuinely the service was worth it, and the restaurant was fantastic. So it's not about the what's it called. It needs to warrant it, is my point, right?
Sure.
Especially for countries that don't have tipping culture.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We should go there. Let's do that on one of our trips.
Absolutely, dude. We'd have so much fun. Oh my god, absolutely.
Next one, quite ironic because of how I'm dressed, but almost nobody actually wears tracksuits here. I don't know why that's a
Really?
fucking thing. used to be maybe back in the day, but
2006 probably, not now.
yeah, 1997 when we thought that was a suit or something. Oh,
thought it
Mr.
was
Suit, look very interesting. I can hide many pistol inside. Pa pa pa. Like, but now like you can see a random like uncle that wears it, or very young kids that like wear it as a fashion statement, not as a. I have not Western product very rare here. I wear, yeah, or that type of shit. Yeah.
I suspect a lot of the dressing stereotypes are kind of going by the wayside. It's the same way with Americans and being overly casual. Like we're still, shorts are a thing, especially where it's warm. But we don't. I haven't seen anyone in public wearing pajamas since before COVID. I think.
I see it at airports. I haven't seen you can.
Airports, yeah, airports are the exception for sure.
When you see that. I haven't been to the States, so I wouldn't know otherwise. But that's very interesting.
There has been an improvement. So what it's 25. I went in 24, and first time I went to Yankee Land, I think it was 2016 or something, 2017, 2018. I don't remember. Then it was extremely prevalent. Now I don't know. Like COVID fixed you guys' brains or something, or
it
just
did
killed all the
something to
pajama
us.
wearers.
Yeah, it did something.
But now,
I think the kids
surprisingly okay dressed. Yeah, or
kids
it's the kids.
Are
it's always
well.
the kids.
It's always the kids that are at the forefront of this stuff. But
and they bully their parents into also starting to dress well. I bullied my dad into having a beard. First time he saw me with a beard, he was like, "You look like mountain man. Are we attacked by Germans? We have beard when German attack, not otherwise. It is very, And then my mom, before they were divorced, she gave me a compliment about my beard, and he looked at her, looked at me, and she's like, "Woman like beard. I try beard," and then she liked it, and she kept beard forever.
Oh, that's
it was
so
actually
cute.
very romantic.
That's
it was
sweet.
Very nice.
I love that. Well, there you go. I think we've done enough racism for today, don't you think, boys?
No, absolutely.
I think it was quite progressive.
We
fought most of the
We've fallen off.
stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If 3 years ago us could see us now, like, no, you guys aren't degenerates. You guys aren't, whatever. Except for me, apparently. You guys still like...
No, I defended American culture like 3 times.
I can't believe it,
episode.
yeah.
What the actual shit?
What's going on?
Hakim is so reactionary, he didn't even want to protect the ice. He was like, no, there has to be something. You get diarrhea from ice. Fuck you. Like our ice was a bigger block. You guys' ice are small blocks.
Hold on. List of ethnic slurs. Let's take a look.
Oh boy, here we go. Bleep
right.
finger. All right.
Oh my god.
Thank you, dear listeners, for listening. Thank you, dear viewers, for viewing. I hope you liked my knob.
Yes, please. I want to slobber on that knob.
If you enjoyed the... he's got a pen. Hugo's big.
And he's aiming it at us threateningly.
If you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy our learning about the mysteries of the Orient and the Occident, I guess, audio listeners, you're missing out. There's some good charades going on here with Hugo.
I love it. I wonder what motion he's miming.
Jesus Christ, this is deranged.
Butter.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Patrons, we love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. This has been the Deprogram. I'm JT.
I'm Hakeem.
I'm Dominic. Oh,
Don't
I'm gonna come.